Joint Secretary sir to kindly inaugurate this workshop, and we can start, and then I will introduce, because sir, today we have with us Dr. T. Venkatesh, who is the lead man of the country. Basically, he has worked for a lot of work for removing this lead, use of this lead from the country. He is an eminent professor in the St. Joseph College, Bangalore. St. John's Medical College, Bangalore, and he's a very good. Not only because I met him personally, so I know about him. He's a very good personality, having a lot of experience, exposure, and I think that he is with us. It is our privilege, actually. I feel myself I am honored when I am having his company. And last time, sir, we have done 3 days training on for these medical professionals in the country, and that was attended by more than about 700 people and we have issued about 700 certificates. So this particular today we have a very good program, how we used to do how the human aspects affects during assessments and the audits. It's a very good topic, because in India we don't want to become the inspectors. We have to become the assessors. We have to become the auditors, not the inspectors. The purpose is this. And sir, I would like to request Madhur sir to kindly inaugurate the workshop, please. Sir, you are muted.
Thank you very much, Ashutosh Agarwal ji, and good morning to all participants. I welcome Dr. Venkatesh, who's a great expert and a doctor, as mentioned by Ashutosh, and he's doing great job, and he'll be an expert speaker for us today. Now, this is an extremely important topic, very close to my heart, is the quality of manpower and their capability. So any area, especially the scientific areas, we need to have people who are free thinking experts. They are research oriented. They have devolved into areas of their interest and want to possibly do newer findings in those areas. That is of importance. Now, in case of instruments, measurements, calibration also, we need a large trained manpower in the country. To be brought in, the newer technology. So there has to be an adaptability to the technology and its usage. And therefore, the importance of quality manpower, their knowledge areas, their upgradation of training, and their friendliness with the newer equipment is of great importance to us. Now, as far as auditors are concerned, they are people of great eminence who have possibly devoted a lot of time in that particular field of expertise. And in this particular case, in the legal metrology, be it instruments which are biomedical instruments or other instruments, and their calibration, their assessment is a very scientific methodology is involved. We have seen in the last few lectures which have been possibly held by Ashutosh ji, and we've seen experts maybe weighbridge measurements and calibration. So every field is an extremely, niche area and a scientific area where the auditors or an experts have to have at least 10 to 20 years of experience before they are NABL accredited or people of eminence who have a quality certification from across the world to carry out those kind of audits. So I think the manpower aspects, the finer areas where people should be focusing would be covered in today's probably talk. And we'll also look into very specific areas where how the importance of human resource and their training, their auditors, how that particular training is evolving. We also need to keep pace with what is happening in the international arena. So mutual exchanges in the field of audits and auditors and capacity building and international programs and newer standards which are being set in. So there has to be a close deliberation and interchange of information and knowledge between the Indian experts as well as the international experts, so as to imbibe the best practices which are available across the world. So I think most of the regulatory or auditor bodies need to update their programs and training issues and the calibration and auditing programs, and accordingly train our scientists so that the scientific temper and the quality of assessments and the equipment in use grows. This is going to help the economy and the country at great extent. So I feel that scientists bring a lot of prosperity to the society, and therefore their knowledge has to be constantly upgraded. So, with these words, I hope that today's session is going to be extremely, extremely exciting, and it will be of great knowledge to all the participants. I can already see that close to 100 participants have already registered for this program. So, with these words, I hand over to Ashutosh Agarwalji and possibly wish great success to this lecture series. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I would like to take the comments from our director, sir, Dikshit sir, in the end, at the end of the program. I would like to request the Dr. Venkatesh sir to kindly start the presentation. Sir, then you just kindly critically examine and let us know what best we have to do after this lecture.
Okay.
Please, sir.
I am projecting. Okay. You should be able to see my PowerPoint any moment. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
I'll make it full screen. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are something like 138, 138 accreditation bodies all over the world. In India itself, we have 5 accreditation bodies. We have, in India alone, we have about very close to a couple of lakhs of medical diagnostic laboratory. Most of them belong to government sector. And we look for quality delivery of results for better patient care, for which there is a requirement of auditing. The auditing earlier was restricted to only finance. Now auditing is there in every discipline. Ethical audit is also there. Water audit, energy audit is there, water audit is there. Now, wherever we assess, wherever we do auditing, I tell you, there are 2 parties involved. The auditors on one hand, auditees on the other hand. The auditors, they always hold their head high and they think they are the decision makers. Auditee, they're very submissive and they think that they are questioned all the time. Unfortunately, the human aspects of auditing assessment is such an important thing. I am going to focus on the human aspects of auditing in next 1 hour or so with an introduction, importance of communication and objectives of communication, auditors, auditee, assessors, assessee concerns, questioning various types of staff, coping with nervousness, aggression, deception for both auditees and auditors, coping with disagreement, which always happens between auditors and auditees, dealing with interfering members of staff who are neither auditors or not auditee, but very powerful. They interfere. Problems with human behavior. Lead auditor as an arbitration referee in all kinds of disagreements. Summary of good auditor's practice will be covered in my next 1 hour, 1.5 hours time with lot of scope for people to ask questions. First, let me look at the introduction. All of you know, working in any organization, you have already undergone audit, you will undergo audit. What is this? Audit is a formal task which is usually conducted in an informal manner so that there is no stress. Let us underline this. Formal task in an informal manner. Now, a professional audit or professional assessment requires basic thorough preparation. Without preparation, there cannot be perfect assessment or audit. And also, auditors and audit assessors must have knowledge of and awareness of the quality management system. When we say quality management system, which is called quality system, it has basically 4 parts. Number 1, the policy part. Number 2, the procedural part. Policy says what to do, when to do, who should do, why should be done, but the procedure says how to do. And what is the proof? that it is done is through records, which are created on formats. These are the three levels, but the policy is not visualized and written. Policy is based on some standard. These standards are called international standard. Once again, yeah, audit assessment requires the knowledge of awareness of the quality management system. What is the standard which is used? What are the policies? What are all the procedures? What are all the activities in different areas? And what are all the evidence that it is done in the form of records? There are technical records, quality records. Now, apart from that, knowledge and awareness of the activity to be audited. If I'm auditing mechanical part of some artificial intelligence, I should have a knowledge about that. If I'm auditing pathology department, I should have a knowledge about pathology. If I'm auditing food testing, I should have knowledge about food testing. The ability to communicate effectively, very important. Effective communication. I may not be very effective in communicating in this seminar. You must tell me, advise me how I can improve. Effective communication is very essential. And audit should be conducted in an impartial and open manner. Though it's impartial, open, it is confidentiality has to be maintained. Now, when I say impartial and open manner, to the requirements of the audit criteria, the audit criteria is the requirement of the standard which organization is supposed to comply with, and documented quality system. That means level 1 document policy documents, level 2 document procedural document, how to do, level 3 is it done in the form of records, level 4 documents, all externally outsourced, internally generated, documents which are accountable, traceable, and will hold responsibility. Interaction between auditors, assessors, and the healthcare organization in the healthcare system. Healthcare representatives during the on-site audit is the major source for collecting objective evidence. No subjectivity is allowed here about the competence and compliance of lab with accreditation requirement. Accreditation is not granted to laboratory, not granted to a pathology microbiology by NABL. Accreditation is not granted to glucose or creatinine or urea. Accreditation is granted to test methodology. We should remember, many laboratories say we are NABL accredited. NABL never gives accreditation to any laboratory. It gives accreditation to methodology. They should say, in my laboratory, this method is accredited by NABL as per the requirement of ISO 17025, ISO 15118, whatever it is. Therefore, for collecting objective evidence, that means there should be evidence proof to be produced in the court in case of a conflict. And competence. I tell you, this is a buzzword. Every one of us sitting here and listening, including me, we are competent. What is competence? It is a combination of three things. One is appropriate education. Pathology should have MD pathology. Biochemistry should have MSc or PhD in biochemistry or MD pathology and biochemistry. Engineer should have an ME in engineering. Now, in addition to that, training plus experience, combination of three things: appropriate qualification, sufficient training, and experience will make the person competent. Some of us are highly competent because they are putting 40, 50 years of service. I heard Dr. Badrinath Dixit talking, highly competent because so many years of experience he has. And compliance of the laboratory with accreditation requirement. Every accreditation body also has certain requirements as per statutory, regulatory requirement of that country. In India, we have, for example, the biomedical waste management, which is differently handled compared to UAE. We have ethical committee, ethical requirement. We have statutory requirement, qualification requirement. In not only the standard, ISO standard, ISO means similar. We call it as International Standard Organization. ISO means left hand, right hand, ISO. Two laboratories following the same standard, they are similar. That's how that word ISO has come. Such interaction include getting in contact with human beings in various forums during talks. We come across different kinds of human beings. Talks, discussions, interviews, and asking many questions to obtain objective evidence on compliance and competence. Compliance is whether we are complying with the requirement of the standard. Non-compliance, non-fulfillment of the requirement. That is the definition, ISO definition. Non-fulfillment of a requirement is called non-compliance. I tell you, we are supposed to brush our teeth every morning. It's a requirement. If we don't brush our teeth, it's a non-compliance. I can go back and brush my teeth. But if I take my wife's toothbrush and brush my teeth, she will shout at me. That's an error. Error is what I am not supposed to do. Compliance is what I am supposed to do. Error is not what I am supposed to do. What I am supposed to do, if I don't do, is a non-compliance. What I am not supposed to do, if I do, it is an error. That error leads to disaster. Now, we discuss, interview, asking many questions to obtain evidences, and for compliance and competence. Both of you have understood. Next, successful collection of objective evidence. I say not just collection of objective, successful collection will giving a due reasoning why it is collected will depend on the efficiency of the auditor. Auditors will become efficient over a period of time. They become not only efficient, they become excellent auditors if they are effective. Efficiency and effectiveness becomes excellence. And this is not an easy exercise. Lab representative under audit, I tell you, the human audit, handling the human aspect is not an easy aspect. This is not an easy exercise because the auditor will usually face stressful situation, not auditee. Auditors, outsiders, they're scared, they're under stress, I tell you, because we don't know how the management will react. In one of the auditors, audit program, management said, should I call police? Because you are asking some unnecessary question. Either you, before we call police, you please get out. This kind of threat was there. That was owned by some politician. Now, therefore, the auditors must be able to express themselves in such a way that the other party in the conversation understands them and be able to give clear answer. Clarity in thought, clarity in expression. Now, how beautifully our today morning inauguration, how beautifully he communicated. Clarity in communication. I appreciate it. Fantastic. I liked it. I hats off to you, sir. You did a wonderful job introducing the whole seminar today. Auditors should learn and understand the negotiation skills. What is skill, I tell you? First, let me define skill. Skill is the combination of three things. Competence plus righteousness in the heart. That is truthfulness, plus courage to speak out truth. We are all truthful. Do we have courage to speak out truth? Then we become skilled. Now, auditors should learn and understand negotiation skills. Should be truthful. Speak out the truth. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, na bruyat, satyam priyam. We shall speak out the truth. We shall speak out truth even if it is not pleasing, but in a manner it is accepted, and questioning techniques in order to be able to manage the audit effectively and reach to mutual agreement. It's like husband and wife agreement. The auditors auditee agreement, it's a mutual agreement on the results of audit and assessment so that the organization improves the quality. That is the beauty. Additionally, I'm part of this introduction only. During the closing meeting, with the laboratory management, both parties should focus on problems to be solved, not on the persons involved. This is something very important. At the end of the audit, they blame each other. That is not required. How can we solve the problem? They become, see, when I start in the opening meeting, I may be on the other side, but I tell them, immediately I'll be on your side. We'll work together. We'll solve the problem. This is what is required. Therefore, communication and objectives of conversation. Okay, this is something which most of you are aware. I may be repeating, please pardon me. The central process in communication is the transformation of personal thoughts, personal feelings into symbols, signs, and words which others recognize and can transform back into ideas. What a beautiful statement. I love this statement. It is a communication. It's not just the thoughts, personal thoughts and feelings and symbols and signs or words, but it can be transformed into ideas. At the end of the audit, ideas should come out to improve. Now, when people communicate with each other, they exchange messages. When I'm talking to you, I'm giving you some message. When you ask me a question, you exchange some message. It's an exchange of messages. Three things are needed for communication to take place. It's a global truth. The sender of the information, that is myself, speaker, I'm speaking, I'm sending the information. The information or the message itself, what I'm telling you is what I borrowed from somebody, somewhere, some textbook, some journal, internet, I'm sharing it with you. And receiver of the message, that you people. If all the three are Harmonized, I tell you, nothing like excellent communication and good learning. Now, therefore, I as a speaker, as an auditor, I'm important, and the information I communicate is important. As an auditee, you are important, the listener. Now, something more is involved in the transmission of the message than only the words of the message themselves. What I'm talking is not just the words. Other things are conveyed to the receiver as well as such as feelings. Sometimes I raise my voice, sometimes I lower my voice, depending upon its importance. Opinions, prejudices, expectations, and so on. These are all various things which come when we talk to each other. Communication is a behavior. It can also be said that all behavior is communication. Communication is a behavior. I tell you, what a good behavioral person, because excellent communication. You know, the personality development, we say, Vastra, Vacha, Vapusha, Vidya, Vinayate, Sampanna. What is that? Vacha is communication, talk. Vastra, the way we dress, reflects personality. Vacha, the communication. Vapusha, domain. Vidya is not knowledge, wisdom. Vinaya, humility, will make a person Sampanna, will make a good person. Therefore, communication is a behavior of an individual. That behavior, depending on they come close to us, they go away from us. This is, and all behavior is also communication. Now, communication, not only words carry information, but also intonation, emphasis, breaks, and speed of delivery, body posture. Sometimes I raise my hand, sometimes I point my hand, and facial expression. Sometimes I smile. In other words, all these ingredients then go to make up behavior. Behavior is combination of all this. Communication does not only occur when it is intentional, successful and deliberate, but all the time. Even if I remain silent for a few minutes, there's some communication. All human beings are constantly broadcasting and receiving communication, every one of us. This is something which we should remember. People have different ways of sending and receiving messages from each other. What are they? Verbal language, body language, verbal communication. Let us look at verbal communication. The message which is transmitted solely via the meaning of words. I tell you, there are certain words we are not supposed to use. There are certain words we can use for same thing. For example, if you go to Amar Kosha, you have for same thing, there are so many words. For forest, atam, maranyam, manam, kananam. Which one to use where is a question mark. Can we use the stree for a lady? Avrat for a lady? It has different meanings. Non-verbal communication. All other means of communication, such as the intonations of words, or the body language, or other means of communication, expressing what is happening inside people. You may have seen sadness, happiness. Okay, 4 rules for communication. Please, all my friends, note down in your scribbling pad. In fact, I am going to give the slides to Ashutosh, who freely distribute it to everybody. It is not anybody's intellectual property. It is supposed to make everybody better. Country becomes better. Okay, you cannot not communicate. You are always communicating. There's no choice. People communicate with words, but often without words. My interpretation is not necessarily somebody else's interpretation. We should understand that. When people say something, they also say something about the way in which they want to be approached. Communication begins to fail when one of the parties refuses to approach the other in the way in which he or she wishes to be approached. Every auditor should remember this. Let us, I tell you, it will not come overnight. It will come over a period of time. Okay, it is an essential skill for people who have to conduct discussion regularly. Listening is a very important. I hope you are all listening to me. You may put on your switch off audio video mode and you may be doing something else. Then I am a waste. Not you. I will become a waste. The auditors and assessors, they should have the skill of listening. Important is listening, not talking. I am talking. That is not important. You are important. You are listening to me. For me, it is not going to make any difference. For you, it is going to make a lot of difference. In active listening, a continual check is made to see whether the message has come across. Whatever I want to tell you, has it reached you? Listening is actively receiving all sorts of signals. A skill, it is a skill which we mostly consider as I heard what you said. What I told you, have you conceived it? However, listening is more than hearing. I heard what you said, but I have listened to what is. It is more than what you have heard. It is, listening is not passive hearing. It's an active activity. It's an activity, very active. That means we should be alert. We should be. All senses should be in its place at highest level. All six senses should be active. Research indicate that in any organization, manager spends about 40% of his her time in communication and listening to others. Good manager is a good listener. However, approximately half of what is heard during the working day is forgotten. Therefore, it is half manager, not full manager. Therefore, auditor has a great responsibility. Auditor like you, trained in 4 days of auditing, not only stimulating the assessed person to contribute to the discussion, but also must himself, herself possess the ability to actively listen to what the other person is saying or intends to say. It's called open-mindedness. If I want to be open-mindedness, I should have patience to listen to what you are going to tell me. Effective listening leads to more and better information. And the consequence of this can be realized in the audit findings. At the end, audit finding will reflect what kind of auditor he is or she is. Therefore, listening is difficult. We all know listening is difficult. The spoken words disappear quickly. That's one. I don't know, whatever I've spoken today, how much of it, unless you have noted down and recorded, it would have disappeared from your mind. There are problems in interpretation. Our minds are quicker in process what we have heard than what we can express in words. Physically, we do not want to listen. One by one, you may switch off. Physically, you do not want to listen to me. It may be boring also, I can't force anything on you. There's a note. It is not easy to repeat what the other person has actually said. Physical and psychological processes affects this. That's why listening, we don't get 100%. In active listening, a closer look. Active listening comprises of 4 steps, which go on continually during the discussion. Not argument. Argument is to say who is right, whether I am right or Ashutosh is right. But discussion is to say what is right. It is not Ashutosh or Venkatesh which is important. Listen to what the other person is saying. Recapitulate what the other person has been saying. Ask that person to repeat if you have not understood. Check whether the summary correctly states what he has said. Organize the information and continue the discussion. Nothing should go waste. This is something, 4 pillars of active listening. Now, asking questions. Anybody can ask questions. We have freedom in this country. You ask question to the Prime Minister, President, you have all that freedom. Questions are the means to obtain information, not right to information. Remember, questions are the means to obtain information, not RTI. RTI is to penalize somebody. Now, types of questions. What are the types of questions we can ask? 5 wives and 1 husband. Remember this. If one husband has 5 wives, we know Mahabharata, 1 wife has 5 husbands, that is different. But here, 5 wives and 1 husband. WH questions, what, why, when, where, who, and how can be asked. Can we ask that? Yes or no questions starting with support words. Example, do you have equipment calibrated? Can you demonstrate this? Is it possible to hand over your part of your work to another person? Are these things validated? These are all some of the questions. Open questions have and give directions because they deal with certain topics. The answer can be given in terms of speaker's own nature, speaker's experience, and insight. Tell me, please, something about your work. That depends. Same question asked to 10 different people, you get 10 different answers in the same department. Close question. If we have a very specific question, then an open question is not suitable. A closed question has to be used instead. For example, of a closed question, what is the university degree you have obtained? Is I'm MD pathology. Closed. Okay, done. Questioning techniques in audit. A cooperative relationship between the auditor and the auditee must be established at the beginning of the audit process. They should come closer. Then it is important that the sharing questions are formulated as follows. Now, open question is an invitation for the other person to speak. Then clearly formulated question, not complicated nor too long. Single, only one question at a time. Sometimes in the national, international conferences, there are some people, I tell you, they come with questions even before the speaker starts. At the end of the speaker, they raise their hand. They say, I have 5 questions to ask. Question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5. The speaker says, will you repeat what is the question number 1? This happens. We have seen that. Therefore, clearly formulated, not complicated, not too long. Single question is only one question at a time. Neutral. What neutral? Should not suggest any particular expectation or opinion. That's neutral. You have understood? Questioning techniques in audit. Second. Okay. During the audit, questions must be formulated so that required information is obtained in the right way, not in the wrong way. Now, you know that all over the country, the people are going and, for various activities to curb the antisocial activities, asking questions. There is the lawyers, the judges ask questions. So that required information is obtained in the right way. It is recommended that the auditor, assessors, like judges, should use why, how questions and avoid yes or no questions as much as possible. Note down this, is very important. Ask sufficient open questions, never ask double questions, not use the phrase, I assume that on that day. Who are we to assume? Ifs and buts will not be there. Never phrase the question in too much detail, which they will forget what to answer. And speak clearly. Rephrase the question if he or she believes it has been misunderstood. Repeat it, make it simple. Follow the lines of discussion. Don't deviate from that as a consequence of active listening. Many questions during the audit and assessment interview or data collection process. We want to find fact, or exploratory. Remember, we as auditors, we do exploration in the organization, which means that they are designed to collect a breadth of information which they may not like. Who are you? Now, there are various techniques for this type of questions. Can I just be excused? I'll open the door and come and join you. Somebody has rang the bell. Ashutosh? I'll just join in 2 minutes. I'll just open it.
Please.
Let me apologize for this short break. I'm sorry. During assessment or anything also it can happen. Okay, I've taken the excuse. What I did, pardon me. Please excuse me. We should learn that surrendering, we are helpless. Sometimes it happens. Now, many questions during audit assessments interview are for data collection. They are explorative. People may not like it. There are various techniques for this type of questions. Explorative questions, what are they? exploratory questions. Given encouragement to tell more about the answer, just given. Can you say more about the balance calibration? What a beautiful way of asking. Ask, for example, ask about personal motives. Present a situation. Suppose that you are in my place. Prolonged questions, repeat questions without building up resistance. We should not develop any resistance in the other party. It's an act, yeah, it is a, I tell you, you will get it over a period of time. In many cases, during audit and assessment, it is necessary to continue questioning. Keep on questioning, no problem. It's not a viva. Tell them, I want some information. No, that's why I'm asking you question. Ask concrete questions in order to find out about real situation. That is the art of asking question. Auditors, assessors should not be afraid to wait for an answer. Wait for 5 minutes. Tell them, okay, at lunchtime you tell me. No hurry. Auditors, assessors must avoid answering their own questions. I think your laboratories are that this A, B, C, D, as if, why should I ask them if I know already? Talking down to staff. Criticism should not be there. In fact, it attributes, assessors attributes, auditors attributes. It's a very important thing. It's a degree, diploma, it's Padma Shri. I tell you, Bharata Ratna to auditors, assessors, if they do not criticize somebody. Coming to the human behavior. You see, behavior is often defined by psychologists as a general term for the totality of all observable, ascertainable, measurable activities by a living organism. We have living organisms, This is the definition. I don't have to explain this. It is natural that unless fully explained, and perhaps because of previous unfortunate experience, people may have misconception of what audit is meant to achieve. They have come to harass us. In one lab they said, sir, please don't raise MC. Management may ask me to resign and go away. A kind of precondition. This may lead to fear. Consequently, people may become defensive, offensive, and uncooperative, opposing the necessary good teamwork spirit. This can happen. The whole, aim of auditing or assessment fails at this stage. Human behavior is very important. Now, problem with human behavior, therefore, when conducting an audit as an auditor, when you are participating in audit as an auditee, either you are an auditor or an auditee. Auditors, assessors have to be aware of the importance of being able to understand the situation for the natural action sometimes caused by change felt by the assessed lab and react appropriately to the situation or actions. Use techniques of effective questioning, be active listener, show professional auditors, assessors conduct, be able to cope up with nervousness, aggression, and deception. That is our responsibility as auditors and assessors. Basic rules of behavior. I'm not a psychologist. I'm only a hypnotherapist under the American board. I use some information from there. I can hypnotize people, not online. Don't worry. You can look at me. As an auditor, assessor, you must find your own style. Don't try to copy somebody. I want to audit like Ashutosh. How can I copy him when I am not Ashutosh? This means that you should be clear about your own ability and weaknesses, I would say limitations. There's no weakness to anybody, limitation. When faced with stressful situations, you should communicate in a conscious manner, being aware of your own psychology. We should not get upset. We should not be short-tempered. We should not be long-time silence. Yeah, awareness of communication generally and conscious communication in particular can help you develop optimum communication skills. In terms of time requirement, results and stress, because auditing assessment is a stressful days only for everybody. Audit involves intense communication under stress, under pressure to succeed. Let us not forget this. Relationship between the assessed laboratory on the one hand and the team of us auditors on the other hand is burdened by their feelings. Feelings should be kept away. The assessed laboratory is under pressure, assessed hospital is under pressure, assessed the organization is under pressure. Laboratory can be replaced by any your organization where you are working. To succeed from their superiors and their customers, and they may fear humiliation, because what happens, the people in the laboratory during assessment, during audit, they want to succeed to please their bosses, please their customers. They have the fear of humiliation. We should understand that. They may interpret questions from the auditors as an assault on their competence. Auditors, when they ask some question, they think it's an assault on them. May conclude they are being harassed. That's why, we assessors, auditors, we also get into stress. Doubt the competence of the auditors or assessors, or feel the demand made by them is too excessive. What a beautiful statement made. The auditors are under pressure to present a convincing case to the accreditation body. Reporting, I tell you, at the closing meeting, there'll be so much of please remove this, sir, change this like this, don't put it like this. Pressure. And from the lab's expectation of success. Okay, the auditors may feel that assessed lab is being obstructive or casting doubts on their competence. On the other hand, we also feel, and they may have doubts about the competence of the lab. All these feelings and others besides may build up like pressure cooker pressure, it will explode sometime during the audit and come to the surface at the final discussion. If the team of auditors concludes that there are major non-conformities with the requirement of one of the standards like ISO IEC 17025 of 2017. Pressure keeps on building. They don't release it from time to time, and then it bursts. Pressure cooker syndrome can happen. When will it happen? At the closing meeting. Throughout the laboratory audit, 2 days, 3 days, particularly at the final discussion, the auditor should therefore try to diffuse any latent conflicts. In other words, every auditor should seek as often as possible following things: to give the other an understanding of his or her role, give them the opportunity to express an interest in partnership. Look, we are together trying to improve the quality, and to put himself, herself in the position of the other, not to go on the defensive side if things become unpleasant, but to take up the positive aspect. Every laboratory has positive things. Highlight that, praise that. Every auditor, assessor must bear in mind that he or she is part of the team in which he or she has to play a specific role. And in this role, he or she is the spokesperson for the entire team. Government also has, parties have spokesperson, You know how beautifully they discuss? They don't argue. The team must be clear in advance about who is to play what role in the audit team. Its members must keep each other in touch with the course of the proceedings, agree on appropriate course of action, must speak with one voice. There should not be difference of opinion amongst auditors. Human behavior avoids this. I am superior to him. Why should I agree with him? And when conflicts arise, they should turn to the accreditation body if necessary. They should not try to sort it out amongst themselves. Auditors' concern. Auditors' concern may include questioning various types of staff, who are junior in nature, who are senior in status. We come across in any organization where somebody is senior to me. I may be an assistant professor. I'm auditing a professor. I may be auditing helper. Coping with nervousness, aggression, deception is auditor's concern. Handling disagreement is auditor's concern. Dealing with an interfering member of the staff. I'll give you some examples. They bring coffee, they want to see what you are doing. They will come and sit and listen to you. You have to throw them out. Reporting audit findings at closing meeting. Let us look at questioning junior staff. You are auditing a junior staff. When questioning junior staff, the auditor should remember that try to emphasize the positive nature of the audit. Convince that person, look, you are all doing this for your help, your improvement, your promotion. Such staff assessed may be junior, but the role they play may be vital for the correct performance of the test or calibration. Technician is such an important thing there. Junior. He or she were once a junior, even auditor was once a junior, we should not forget. Questioning senior staff. You are questioning some senior to you. When questioning senior staff, the auditor should remember that no one is exempted from complying with the audit criteria and policies and procedures laid down in the quality system documentation. Nobody is above the law. As an auditor, he or she has been approved by the management of the laboratory. I have been approved by the management to question you, not to be intimidated. Even if the assessed representative is the managing director, you must hold your head high. Very important. You know how to deal with senior staff, how to deal with junior staff. Coping with nervousness. Whatever happens with nervousness. Auditor, you should emphasize that your role is not to find fault, but rather to look for compliance with requirement. Find fact. You must be convinced about that. You should watch from a distance as an auditor, if possible. Distance means not just physical distance. Now, auditor should take a break from time to time. Keep interruption to minimum. Auditor should remember that aggression is a cover for nervousness. Please remember, any aggression like animal, dog on the street, very aggressive. Why? It is nervous because you may attack. That's why it becomes aggressive. We should not behave like dogs or donkeys to kick somebody. So, he or she should watch from a distance if possible, emphasize where correct activities have been performed correctly, appreciate, keep on appreciating, pat their back. Unless, if the technicians a girl, don't go and pat their back. Okay, that will give different, input. And not react to their aggression. Not react to their aggression. What reacts? When two chemicals are brought together, they react. What you should do? Act. Do not react, but act. If problem continue, they need to enlist the help of the manager or the quality manager. Please remember two important golden words here, all of you. As an auditor, as an assessor, do not react. Please act. Okay. Auditor should try to appeal to assessed representative, make him or her aware that everyone makes mistake from time to time. Even I had made such a mistake, you can say. Covering up mistake would lead to bigger or more costly problems for the organization. Auditor should remember he or she needs to obtain facts to substantiate his or her claims of deception. This deception is something very coping with disagreement. We disagree. Auditors, auditee disagree. Auditor should remember, you should remember if you are an auditor or an auditee, if he or she raising factual observations against the requirements of the quality system, there should be little room for disagreement. If there's evidence, there's no disagreement. However, assessed representative may disagree with the auditor if they have misunderstood the question. When do I disagree with you? If I have misunderstood your question, I will disagree. They believe the auditor have misunderstood the situation. They believe that the system is wrong or at fault. There is a disagreement. How to cope? These problems may be alleviated by ensuring the auditor rephrase the questions, summarize what they believe the system or problem to be, active listening, ensure they are aware that they can make suggestions for improvement or take preventive action. These are all coping with disagreement. Additionally, at the closing meeting, the following may occur. Auditee may disagree with the non-conformities raised at the closing meeting. What to do? Possible causes of disagreement from lab. Disagreement may occur if the auditee was unaware of the non-conformity occurring during the audit, number one. Therefore, from time to time, they should be told. Believes the system is defined is wrong or at fault, and believes he or she will be punished for the problem. This is why possible causes of disagreement. This has to be sorted out by the auditor or assessor. These problems may be alleviated by ensuring all observations are brought to the attention of the auditee at an appropriate time during the audit from time to time. There's no problem you doing that. We should not have any ego doing that. The auditee is aware that they are part of the quality system, can raise improvement suggestions, prevention action at any time. Then a positive attitude to the closing meeting can be achieved. Coming to dealing with an interfering member of the staff, this is very interesting, I tell you. Every assessment audit I have come across this. A temporary solution would be to send that person for it to take a task. Hey, will you please go and get me some water? Will you please go and get something which is not available anywhere here? You are sending to some medical shop where the drug is not available. Unfortunately, they usually return and continue interfering. They are very special people. A more permanent solution would be to point out that the audit is trying to establish the compliance with and understanding of the quality system by all members of staff. They are not special from that. Therefore, you also join, you become part of that. That is the ultimate thing. Now, lead auditor as a referee in all kinds of disagreements. The lead auditor, like you and me, is assuming the overall responsibility for a specified audit activity. This is the assuming the overall responsibility. Now, he or she is the most capable and most qualified amongst the team with regard to audit management. What is this audit management? Keeping the audit team together, maintaining the time schedule, keeping everybody happy. If there's some disagreement going up and diffusing the situation amongst team with regard to audit management and communication skills. So all the team members may not be equally competent with the communication skills. Lead auditor may have good communication skills. They go sit at with a cup of tea, then with good communication sort out that problem, which is diffused at that level. Shall possess additional knowledge in the aspects of quality as a lead auditor. Therefore, experience matters here for a lead auditor. Team leader, now we call them team leader. That lead auditor terminology is changed to team leader by ISO. In unbiased and impartial manner. The lead auditor, as a referee, has sufficient experience to make sound judgment. Means makes one statement which is accepted by everybody. That judgment is called a sound judgment, not with loudspeaker. Summary of good auditor's practice. Be well prepared. Establish a positive attitude to the entire activity. Should be unbiased and impartial, irrespective of whether your wife is working, your enemy is working, should be unbiased and impartial. I tell you, the power of appreciation. Auditors should learn the power of appreciation. I'll give you an example, one story. This is a very powerful story. Some of you must have heard it. Positive attitude is appreciation. You must appreciate somebody. There was a boy. I will tell you one scenario. There was a boy. Boy was around 10 or 12 years. This boy was a notorious boy, rich man's son, notorious fellow. He never took any interest in classes, sports. He was always bullying others. Therefore, the boy was in the same class for last 1.5, 2 years. The teacher used to punish him every day. Teacher used to call that boy, punish, make him stand on the bench for hours together. That punishment had become routine to this boy. Complaints were going to his house every day. The teacher one day could not sleep. She suddenly realized, every day I am punishing this boy, John. This John has not improved. There is something wrong with me. Teacher thought, whatever I do, this boy has not improved. That means I am wrong. Then she decided, okay, let me see, is there any good quality in that boy? She realized, in spite of punishing him every day, scolding him every day, the boy never revolted against her. She could have attacked her. He was a well-built fellow. Then teacher decided, okay, tomorrow morning, first thing I should do, not to punish him, not to scold him, but appreciate him for his patience, endurance, no enmity. Then next day morning she goes earlier. She is standing at the gate itself to receive this boy. The boy comes in a car, gets down and saw this teacher at the gate. She gets petrified. This boy gets petrified. Oh, all these days she was punishing me inside the classroom. She has come out today. I don't know what wrong I did. The boy suddenly started getting nervousness. The teacher said, my son, come here. He could not believe when she called him, my son, come here. This fellow could not believe that he was not dreaming. He came. The teacher said, John, I love you. I like you. You are a good boy. He could not believe. He said, he was telling himself, Madam, you tell me anything, but don't punish me. Then this teacher said, look, I have been punishing you, scolding you, humiliating you in everybody's presence all these days, but you never got upset. That good quality I want to appreciate, John. For that token of appreciation, I want to put this ribbon on your chest. She took one ribbon, she wanted to put it on his chest. The boy could not believe. He said, do whatever you want to do, madam. I am at your disposal. She had put that ribbon, red ribbon on his chest, hugged him, kissed him on his forehead. He said, boy, John, I like you. Let's go to the class. It has changed that boy. Then this teacher said, John, but one condition. Within next 24 hours, you must find somebody whom you never liked. Go to that person. Find some good quality in that person. Appreciate that. Put that, transfer that ribbon. Tell that person to continue this chain, like unbroken chain. He agreed. He went and started thinking, who is that person whom I don't like? You know who is that person? I'll tell you. It is not this teacher. He already started liking. It is his father, was much more dangerous than his teacher. He went early home, waiting for his father to come. He never liked his father. Though father paid fees, everything, he used to punish him also. He used to scold him even before he opened his mouth. John was waiting. Father came in a car. He is number 2 officer in an organization. Number 2 big boss. John said, Dad, I want to tell you something. Dad said, more complaints today? I don't want to talk to you. Any money, any penalty, I'll pay. I don't want to see your face. He went inside. John was depressed. He wanted to tell his father something. Then he did not go for dinner. Then mother said, John did not come for dinner. Father got upset. He went, John, you want to tell me something? What is that, Ken? Quickly tell me. I don't have much time. He said, Dad, I love you. You are so kind to me. In spite of my failing in the class, very notorious, Dad, you might have been punishing me. But I tell you, for my own discipline, I love you, Dad. I like you, Dad. Can I? And then he told what happened with his teacher. Dad, tears were there in Dad's eyes. He said, what is that I can do? He said, no, nothing. I'll transfer the ribbon to your chest, hug you, kiss you, Dad. But within next 24 hours, you must find somebody whom you did not like. Go and transfer that ribbon after finding some good quality in that person. Dad agreed. He hugged the dad. First time after several years, son hugging the dad, and then transferred the ribbon, kissed the dad. Both of them were crying, both of them were happy. Then dad started thinking, who is that person to whom I should transfer that ribbon? Many people in the previous lecture said, his wife. I'm sorry. It's not the wife. It is his boss. The dad is number 2. Every time he went to office, that boss used to ask, why you came early today? If he came late, why you came late today? If we said good morning, is also what is so good about this morning? I tell you, in any organization, number 1 and number 3 are very good friends. 1 and 2 are always enemies. I don't know why. It may be, I don't want to generalize this. Okay, then he said, okay, I'll go and appreciate my boss because of strictness. He never celebrates anybody's birthday, anybody's wedding anniversary. He went there next day early. He was waiting for his boss. Boss came. He said, good morning, sir. He said, what is so good about this morning? Why did you come early? You want some loan? You want some leave? Nothing will be sanctioned. He went inside his office. He said, nothing like that, nothing like that. Then he went and knocked on the door. Yes, please come in. He went. Sir, I want to tell you something. He said, what is that, man? Every day you are causing problem. We are losing business. What is that you want to tell me? He said, sir, because of your strictness, whole office is working. There are good quality in you. Nobody can manage this lab, this organization like you. I want to appreciate it. That fellow could not believe. Hey, waiter, sit down. This chair is meant for you. Sit down. He said, shall I get you a cup of coffee? He said, no, sir. I want to transfer that ribbon. I want to appreciate you. Because of you, so much of discipline is there in the lab. And he went and hugged him and transferred that ribbon. Lost the scenario now. He said, if you have somebody whom you did not like, whom you did not talk, whom you did not meet for last several months, please transfer that ribbon to that person, apologizing that saying sorry that you could not talk to that person. He agreed. They became friends now. It changes the whole scenario. This boss that day went early home. He went early. He used to sit till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night. Strict bosses stay longer time in the office. This fellow went home. He went and asked his wife, Mary, where is that David? David was his son. She said, suddenly you remembered David after so many months? He's staying upstairs. David heard his father's voice. He got petrified. Oh, something must have gone wrong. 12-year young boy, David. Then he said, David, will you please come down? David came down slowly. He was like a 8-year young boy with complete, mother's love, father's love was not there. How many of us spend some time with our children, These parents never spent any time with their child. Giving food only, shelter and books and fees is not enough. He came down. Father and mother are sitting on the sofa. They asked the son to sit in between them. He was shocked. He went and said, Dad said, David, I'm extremely sorry, David. I apologize, David. I never spoke to you all these days. Pardon me. I love you, he said. David started crying, could not control. Mother started crying. Then David said, Dad, Mom, wait. I will just want to show you something. He went up. He brought a letter he had written. Suicide note he had written. Saying, I am not wanted by anybody. Why should I live? He said, Dad, Mom, if you had come 5 minutes late, I would not have been there. One word of appreciation from the dad saved his life. What I am trying to tell all of you, learn that heart of appreciation. Find out some good quality in the auditee, in that auditor. Appreciate. I tell you, that changes the whole audit scenario. Therefore, summary of good auditor's practice. First things you should learn how to appreciate. Be well prepared. That's very essential technically. Establish a positive attitude to audit. Don't have negative attitude. Audit, whether you're auditor, auditee, develop a positive attitude. It should be unbiased, impartial, irrespective of whether you know them, you don't know them, whether they give you dosa or not. Be mindful to the auditee personal space. Auditee is under stress. They have their own space. Be mindful of the auditee's personal space. Be there with them. Be polite. Auditors, assessors, be polite. It doesn't cost any money. Give thanks for assistance received, even with a cup of coffee, tea. When some time is given for you to think, appreciate, praise them. Be polite. Give credit where it is due. Don't hesitate to appreciate. Credit, do you give? What a wonderful degree you have. What a wonderful experience you have. I wish I had. I envy you. You say that. And do not trust to memory. We are all losing our memory as we grow older and older. Be friendly with everybody. Keep smiling, not all the time, occasionally. If you keep on smiling at that girl all the time, it will will be give you some wrong inputs. Just review your performance every hour, every half an hour. What you did, review. Enjoy audit. Audit is something like a sports game. There's no, in sports you lose, but here you never lose. You always are gain. This is the beauty of summary of good auditors thing. With this, I would like to, I don't know how to thank, I will not thank like-minded people. No excuses, no thanks for like-minded people. And if any questions are there from anybody, I'll be too happy to answer.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, we have a very few, but I think that the remarks are only positive. We have not received any questions during your presentation, but they are requesting for the presentation. So certainly, as you have
I give to you, pass it on to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So as you will give it to me with the certificates, we will issue this presentation to all the participants. It's very good, sir. We have about 150 participants now, 150 plus participants. And sir, certainly if you want to continue something else, because listening to you is always, always very precious for us.
I am honored. I'm honored in presence of great personalities. I tell you, I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Abdul Kalam for 15 years.
Very good.
Whatever I have mentioned today, every character is in him.
Okay.
He could reflect every aspect, whether he was an auditor, assessor, or not. Human. That's why I gave the title Human Aspects. He's not auditor, assessor, human aspect. Every auditor is a human.
Yes.
Every human also should be an auditor. In Nepal, I saw a board. Every traffic policeman is a civilian in uniform. Every civilian is a traffic policeman without uniform. We should play that kind of role. I am extremely happy, grateful to you, Ashutosh, for inviting me. And I don't know how many participants are there today.
150 plus, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, now I have Dikshit with us. If Sir Dikshit would like to say comment, please.
Uh, Dr. Venkatesh, Ashutosh, JSAB, and other dignitaries who are participating in this seminar. We should, by heart, give thanks to Dr. Venkatesh, because whatever we heard today, that was his whole experience. He experience of the life about this auditors and other things, inspection, and then how that should be behavior, and what should be there, that he was expressing, and uh, he was telling that everybody is human beings. There may be fault also, but how the auditor should behave, how should the inspection should be done, and all these things he was telling. You know, Mr. Agarwal, that how in our RSL in 2006, RSL Faridabad was accredited, and after that, other RSLs were accredited. So I think that our most of the RSLs are being accredited, and we have 2-3 persons who are the lead assessors. Out of that, one is Mr. Ashutosh. So he is visiting to industries and other places for the assessment purpose, and he is very kind-hearted, and people know him, and he is also behaving as Dr. Venkatesh today made the expression. And really, by heart, any work when you are taking in your hand, there should be the humanity, knowledge, dignity, and you should know the practical difficulties, and you should go for the resolution. But the truth is truth. You should not cross the truth. Truth is very important thing. In weights and measures, everywhere the corrective measures, correct quantities, and the maximum permissible error are being defined. Therefore, the truth are being truth, and we should follow the truth and measurement of uncertainty, because it is also within the maximum permissible errors, and we have lot of instruments where the people are going for audit purpose, and those things are being defined in legal metrology general rule 2011. Apart from that, we have the standards. So this is the time has come. to modernize our RRSF. You know that we had um, done a lot of work throughout the country in the establishment of secondary and working standard laboratory. We had provided them equipment, high-level equipment. We had provided them good training also at the NPL for the technical knowledge and from QCI for this NMPL accreditation on 17025. That's where they understand the things and this body when they inspected any um, organization and other things. So they got the cooperation from the inspectors and they never become hurdle and all that type of. So in these activities, Mr. Agarwal association was lot and he made lot of efforts also. So technically we become the successful and the UCI people who were doing the accredited work. So they become also very happy from the legal methodology. Thanks with this very word and lot of thanks to Dr. Ventesh because today he expressed by heart whole of his experience of the life and I am very happy from his lectures and all that very thing that become a lecture which is a learning process also for me. I learn a lot of the things from that lectures. So thank to Dr. Ventesh, thanks to Mr. Ashutosh, thanks to Joint Secretary Sahab and other dignitaries who are participating in this very seminar. Thank you, Ashutosh ji.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, Doctor Sir, when you are planning for this next 4 days training program for understanding of these 15189?
5th to 8th. 5th to
Okay.
8th of October. Yeah,
Okay,
there are 3 programs, 5th to 8th, 11th to 14th, and 22nd to 25th.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Sir, certainly we would like to take your more help in our fields because it is very important and you have a lot of experience. Certainly, I would like to.
I am honored to have our joint secretary here today. I'm so happy, I tell you. Huh?
Thank you, sir. Thank
I
you
am
very
very
much, sir.
happy.
Thank you.
Your
Thank
your presence is a catalyst for me to speak.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You certainly spoke exceedingly well, sir. And I was very patiently listening to you. And this particular topic, as I spoke in the opening remarks, is very close to my heart. That, it is what we call an unbalanced relationship. Because an auditor, when he comes, he is more powerful, and an auditee in any organization feels threatened. And you've covered all those points, which probably I thought that somebody as an auditor, if he's in superior position with superior skills and knowledge, how he needs to probably behave. And you've exceedingly well spoken about it. And with the story you narrated, that entire concept has been very well received by the participants. I've been seeing it in the feedback and the chat pod. So we feel honored to have such an experienced person who's himself doing a lot of programs. And this is extremely important point for all the youngsters to learn who wish to be auditors, that how they're supposed to improve their skills and their behavior in conjunction to their entire professional knowledge to be very well accepted and respected in the world of audit. This will bring better output and a better lab conditions and better professional work in the entire society. So thank you very much, sir, for your very kind and important lecture today. We hope to listen to you again in future on various other topics where you are working. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Since it is consumer department, I would like to offer myself, would like to deliver a talk on one of the most important burning problems in the world, especially in developing countries like India, on how to manage lead poisoning is a very important topic. Though he
Yes.
mentioned I was responsible in getting unleaded petrol to the country in March 2000. It's not me, it is a team of people. I was the director of the project. Admiral Dawson was the chairman. Abraham George was the sponsor. I was only, as a director, I got the name for that. They called me Lead Man of India. Now, lead
Yes.
in cosmetics, lead in traditional medicine, lead in paints. We are working on that. On 11th of this month, I'm coming to Delhi for a very important meeting with Niti Ayog for solving this problem. We need to protect the IQ of our children by eliminating lead in their living environment. We cannot have lead-free society. We can have lead-safe society. I am on the WHO committee. Maybe if Ashutosh, if you find some
Sir,
slot for me sometime, it will be about
please.
1.5 hours talk on what we have done in India, in neighboring countries, including in Pakistan. I went there to eliminate lead in their surma. In fact, it is science from bench to society. Whatever science we do in the lab should change the policies to improve the society. Bench to bedside, it should help the patients to become better. And the you may consider this particular
Please.
because Ministry of Industries and Commerce under DIPP, we are very particular about developing certain policies to the country which can protect our people. And also, consumers should not go to the court against any industry. It is not a good sign. Every industry needs
Yes.
to be protected from consumers. It's meant for consumers. And from that
Yes.
direction, I would like to give a talk where consumers and industries can participate on one aspect like lead poisoning prevention. Okay?
Sure, sir. Sure. It will be pleasure for us, sir. Certainly, I will manage. I'll try to manage this program as soon as possible, and it will be a good learning from you because you are the ladman of the country. So certainly, we would like to learn from you.
Yeah, you are a gold man, he's a diamond man, another is a platinum man. Somebody has to be led, you know.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Joint Secretary. Thank you, Director Saab, and all the participants and IC team for making this program successful. Thanks all. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.